everyone. Happy Tuesday. We are here tonight. We've got the Speak Now cardigan on, which you know what that means. My special guest is here. You also know what that means. It's time for a Tay Talk, and it's Tuesday. We've got Tuesday Tay Talk, and we are, hello! Tonight we're going to talk about all things Torture Post Department. We're going to talk about the Torture Post Department. We're going to talk about the anthology. We're going to talk about the Fortnite music video. We're going to talk about all the things. First off, if you have not yet seen our first listen video, that is up on YouTube right now. It is a YouTube-only video, so make sure if you are interested in watching our true blind reactions. And let me tell you, there are some really funny moments in there. Like some really funny faces that happen on camera, like when she said the F-bomb and I didn't know that it was coming because it was a blind listen, and like moments with my cat, just like funny things. So definitely go give that a watch, and while you're there, if you are not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit that red button and give me a thumbs up, so we can keep making more videos. And we are going to put our thoughts about the anthology first listen into a separate video. So tonight we're going to talk about kind of, it's been 2.5 weeks. What are we thinking? How are we feeling? What are the thoughts now? We both have like our original ratings from both of them. So we're going to see how they compare now, 2.5 weeks later. And yeah, so this is just not so much a Swift tea necessarily. We're not going to dive into the lyrics, so to speak, unless there have been, unless you've come upon anything in your listening, that, I have my, some theories of my own that I will share with everybody. But in terms of, oh, this one's about so-and-so, it's still too new. So this one's just going to be a regular Tay Talk, not so much a Swift tea. We will get back to our Swift tea content. The next video in that series will be, would it be Evermore? No. Yeah, Evermore, because we did Fearless.
Okay.
We did Fearless Taylor's version, so now we're finally getting into, the Evermore and folklore stuff, which will be so exciting.
So exciting, yes.
Okay, so, what should we start with? Should we start with TTPD? Should we start with the anthology? Should we start with the Fortnite music video? Maybe do that. I was thinking the Fortnite music video kind of as we, go through the Torture Post Department.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of if we want to start with the Torture Post Department or, the anthology. You're my guest, so you decide.
We can start with the anthology, because I feel
I
like the Torture Post Department a little better.
Same.
So I'll save that one.
Yeah, I don't have as much to say about the anthology.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and put that out there. And if you're joining us, follow along in the comments here. You can comment. We'll read those and react to those with you, and let us know your thoughts. Okay, so for the anthology, admittedly, we listened to the anthology, I think, 3 days after it was released, so we did not, or at least I did not listen to any of the anthology until 3 days after the release, and we did listen to the whole album in order, and since then, so since the 20th, 21st of April, I have only listened to the anthology 3 times in full, whereas the Torture Post Department has been playing on repeat in my car since the 20th of April. So I've definitely listened to the Torture Post Department way more than the anthology. But I think we'll just go through the tracks. We'll just share some of our thoughts about them. And then, especially now that we have, listened to each of the songs more.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, before we got on this live, just about, I've listened to my favorites a couple of times. I'm really having a hard time, picking a favorite on this part of the album.
Okay.
Just because I feel like a lot of them sound similar, or they sound like other things that have been done before, and nothing is really standing out to me. I like How Did It End, and I hate it here, but other than that, those are, and even still, still I'm not like if I had to choose between one of those two or like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, I'm gonna choose I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Yeah.
So even those two that I like aren't. But I think I just need more time. Like, by this point, I've listened to the Torture Post Department probably close to 30 times because I just keep replaying it in my car. And I just haven't given the anthology that same amount of love. So.
Yeah. Yeah, probably same. There are a few in the anthology that I'm like, okay, I love this. But then it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
All right, so let's just start. We'll just go through... And not so, like I said, in our first listen video, the blind react video, there are way more thoughts over there. So if you want to hear our real deep dive in, then go listen to that video because we do have so much that we want to talk about tonight. I think we'll just keep it very basic, basic thoughts.
I mean, we do have 31 songs to go through and a music video, so in an hour, so it makes sense. We just gotta kind of fly through it.
Right. So, starting off with the Black Dog,
honestly, I'm just going to be very real up front. Like, I feel like most of the songs from either part of the album, like, whether it be the anthology or the Torture Post Department, like, just right off the jump, I'm going to be real and say, like, the impression that I got from most of them are the ones where I'm like, I think I'm really going to love this one. Like, I really like this. I feel like my reaction is still the same for the most part 2 weeks later. The Black Dog, it got an average rating for me from the start, and I haven't had the desire to really listen to it that much more. Like, there were some quotes that I, liked in it. Like, I think that there's a connection between that one and Clean from 1989. Like, something about breathing in smoke. Like, I see my notes here, like, old habits start screaming, 6 weeks of clean air, but I still miss the smoke. I know I already talked about that in the last video, but that I kind of liked about it. But other than that one didn't really, grab my attention, so I'm not, feeling like I cared too much for that one. So.
Yeah, similar. First listen, it got a middle grade for me, 5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Just, very much in the middle. I'm just gonna shoot me. I like the screaming, that part where she sounds like she's screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'll say this later too. Wait till you see how many notes I have for the TTPD portion of this video. But I am a Taylor Swift fan. For her music, as a musician, as a singer, and as a artist. I kind of follow the dating stuff and her personal life stuff as an aside or as a second.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about my favorite songs, most of it comes back to melody and lyrics and vocals for me. And the one thing that got the average rating for the Black Dog is the part where it's old habits die screaming. I love what the melody does. I love what she does vocally with that.
Yeah.
And it just, I'm with you. I've listened to it. I think it's growing on me in terms of melody. When I hear it, I'm able to recognize it and pick it out as its own song now, which always is nice. But it doesn't have anything that, like you said, is oh my gosh, I have to listen to the Black Dog.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have that for me.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. That's it for that one. That's all I got. Number 2 is I'm going to get you back, all one word, all lowercase. I think this title is super fun.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with this one is it sounds very similar lyrically to Olivia Rodrigo's, I forget what her song is called. Gonna Get Him Back, I think is what hers is called. I wanna get him back, I wanna do. Very similar. The two songs are parallels, and this is one of those situations where Olivia Rodrigo did it first. And people give Olivia Rodrigo crap because they think she's a knockoff Avril, because her, and people have said, before Olivia walked, Avril ran, or something. Because her music sounds very similar to Avril's.
Yeah.
And, Olivia Rodrigo is today's Avril, angsty, punky, poppy, that we grew up with Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
me, this one, like, one of the lyrics that I like is whether I'm gonna be your wife or I'm gonna slash your bike. And that's very similar to the lyrics in Olivia Rodrigo's song. The thing I want to say about this song, but also, first listen, it got an average rating. This one is growing on me a little bit. Like, if I had to rate this one today off of, like, 3 or 4, maybe, this one I actually heard on Pandora, so this one has had a little bit more listening time.
Yeah.
I would probably give this one maybe, like, an 8 out of 10. I like the poppiness of it. I like the beat, and several of the lines do get stuck in my head. Yeah. But what I want to point out about this song specifically is that there is yet another lyrical reference to a rental car being crashed. What in the world is the deal with this rental car? So let's keep notes. If you're playing along in the comments, this is the first reference. Well, actually, we're working backwards here. So the anthology came after. So this is now the upteenth reference to a rental car. So for tonight's video, this is the first reference, but we're going to keep track of how many references there are because something happened in a rental car.
Yeah.
Something happened.
With this song, it's funny you say that it started off as a lower ranking and then it got higher for you. For me, I love the beat of this one. Like, I think it's so cute. Like, it's a cute song, and I just love the mystery of, like, is she talking about getting back as in getting back together, or, like, I'm getting revenge on you?
I think it could be either.
It's so cute. So,
I think she doesn't know. I think that's the fun of it, is she doesn't know. And that's a similar theme throughout all 31 tracks, is this, like, morally gray, like, deciding which way to go.
Yeah.
This is not the only one with this theme.
Yeah. So, I still really like that one.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, The Albatross. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Not much has changed for me with that one either. Average. I learned shortly after I listened to this one that an albatross is a really faithful type of bird. So the analogy there, or like the metaphor there.
I knew that it was a bird. I didn't realize that, like, faithful was, like, part of the definition, or part of the species.
Yeah. So, like, that kind of made me, like, have an appreciation for, like, the reference of what the albatross is supposed to, like, represent, I guess.
Also, I like the friendship bracelets making an appearance this evening.
Yes.
Always great. This one, to me, sounds like a crossover between Willow, Betty, and Madwoman. Like, this one just sounds like it should have, like, it could belong on Folklore. Probably should have belonged on Folklore, if we're being completely honest. For me, this one on first listen was at the bottom of the pack. It was, like, very, very low on the totem pole. And it hasn't really grown that much. Like, maybe it's a couple higher up. Like, maybe, you know, it's 4th or 5th from the bottom now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, when I hear it, like, right now I'm at the point of whenever I hear it, I'm not skipping it because I don't fully know it yet, and I feel like I haven't listened to this part of the album enough to really appreciate some of the songs. Yeah. So I'm trying to, like, give it its due time of, like, okay, like, let me give it a few more listens and see if it grows on me, but I'm not overall, like, I wouldn't say that I'm not a fan, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I would agree, honestly.
All right. Number 4, probably the most interesting song title she's ever had. Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. This one, again, got an average rating for me. I don't really have anything to say about this. Like,
I don't either.
I don't have anything to say about this song. The only thing I will say about it is in my initial notes, I wrote this down too, and I'm sure we'll talk about, we talk about this more in the Anthology First Listen video, so make sure you go check that out. But the only thing that's significantly stood out for me, like, I think I've listened to this song maybe 3 times so far, and I, like, haven't even had it in me to, like, listen to the lyrics. Like,
Yeah.
it literally is playing as background noise. I haven't really even, like, delved into it much.
Yeah.
But the color fade, like, there's a lyric that says something, color fade from the scarlet maroon, and I've heard a theory that all of the TTPD/Anthology songs have a sister song on Midnights, and so that would be a direct reference to Maroon from Midnights.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, were there songs on Midnights that were not about Joe, and that were about, because the line about, like, you wanted drugs more, what is, like, who is that? Because this is again not the first reference about somebody, like, choosing drugs over her, which automatically my mind goes to Maddie Healy.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't know, but this is not the first song in this 31 that has referenced somebody choosing drugs over her.
Yeah.
So, those are the only things that stick out for me. This one got an average rating first listen, but it has probably moved to the bottom now. Like, it hasn't grown, and I just kind of ignore it and don't really remember that it exists.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's as low as, like, Hoax, but it might get to that level where I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about that one either.
Okay. Then we go to track 5, which is How Did It End, which honestly is probably my favorite. I'll use favorite loosely of the back half. The part that I really, really like is the part in the bridge where it's like, my ghosts and me sitting in a tree, D-Y-I-N-G, and that's like my favorite part in the,
Yeah.
I think that's from this one, or is that from I Hate It Here? I can't remember.
No, I don't think that's in I Hate It Here.
I can't remember. Oh, there you go. Says how much I've listened to it. No, I think it is. A touch that was my birthright became foreign. And this one sounds very similar to Champagne Problems for me. And I think there are a lot of parallels. If we look at the lyrics of both, you can see like, you know, we're telling all of our friends, here we are again, how did it end? This one feels very much like a track 5, and I like that about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this one. I mean, I know I talked about it in our first reaction video, but I still have written here in my notes, like, we learned the right moves to different dances. We'll tell no one except all our friends. Like, it's very vulnerable. Like you said, track 5 material, and I like it. So, yeah, not much has really changed there, I guess.
Yeah, and upon first listen, I did give it a 9 out of 10, and I think it would still, like, lyrically, it still sits there for me. Like I said, it still is holding, like, that top spot, because none of the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go ahead and talk about the next one, because I know you really like the next one.
Okay, so High School. It's funny because, like, I feel like I liked it originally just because I'm like, oh, it's about Travis and it's a love song. But, like, honestly, the more I listen to it, I like it more, and I think it's cute and catchy. Like, not only is it cute and do I like it because it's about Travis, but, like, and it's a love song about the two of them, but, like, I honestly think it's a cute song. Like, so the more I've listened to it, I've actually come to like it more since it's come out.
It is a cute song. What I like about this song is it's very Fearless era to me. The beats, the melody fit right into Fearless era, and I feel like this song could have existed on the Fearless album. This could have been released as a vault track for the Fearless album, and I don't think anybody would have looked twice or thought twice about it. It is very cute. It's just a cute song. I gave it, like, I would say the rating that I gave it on our first listen is still the same. Like, very similar score, very similar ranking. Yeah. All right. Number 7, we're moving fast to this, is I Hate It Here. This is my second favorite, and I feel like I said about How Did It End, that's still pretty much the same. This is very, like, this is a song that you can scream sing. This one I feel like I almost feel that I Hate It Here could have been the track 5. And I, like, question why it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, my feelings about this one are also pretty much the same. I want to, like, listen to this one this is the one that I feel like I want to listen to more to get more of the lyrics down and like really dive into it more. So this is probably the first one of the ones that we've talked about where I actually have a want to listen to it more than I have, just to kind of get into it more.
Yeah. I think for this one, I Hate It Here, when we listened to it the first time, it was like probably my favorite one that we listened to on The Anthology. And that's probably still true. Like, I think that like I listened to it a lot like after we first listened to it, and I think I still feel the same way about it. Like, I don't think anything has necessarily grown for it. Like, I haven't been like, ooh, I like it even more than I did, but like I still like it the same, and I like it a lot. It's probably my favorite, if not like up in the top 2 or 3 favorites on the Anthology. So it's a very good song.
All right. Oh, we're on to Thank You, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
With that capital K-I-M. Now, if you have listened to, this is, like, Thank You, Amy is the clean version. She does use the F word in the song when she's singing, other than at the very end. This is a bully anthem. Like, this is what I think what she wished that she would have or could have said when things were happening to her. So very much, like, it is a diss track, clearly. K-I-M spells out Kim, in case anybody missed that. Again, this is another one that I feel like could have been on Fearless. It kind of gives me the same similar sound to So High School. My first reaction to it was, like, I laughed after it, and I was like, wow. Like, it was there, especially the bridge. Like, we'll have to you'll have to watch the deep dive in the Anthology first listen video, because we had some thoughts to say about that. But overall, like, I gave it a high rating the first time, and I think I was just kind of, like, enamored by the fact that she spelled out Kim, and that it was a diss track. Like, I don't know if I, like, genuinely like the song at an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, you just like it because it's a diss track.
Yeah,
like what I was saying about, like, when I first listened to So High School, I'm like, it's about Jen. Like, and I think that's why I liked it. But now that I've, like, listened to it more, I've liked the way it sounds. But you're saying, like, with Thank You, Amy, you don't know if you actually like the song. You just like that it's a diss track.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so much to the fact of, like, I was listening to this. This one actually came up on Spotify just naturally playing over the weekend, and I was, like, with my parents, and I was like, did you guys know that this song is, like, do you see the capital K-I-M? Do you know who this is supposed to be about? But I still, like, it's not that I like the song. You know what I'm, like, it's not like I'm, like, walking around singing it, or that it's stuck in my head like some of the other ones. It's just, I just think it's funny.
Yeah. I honestly, like, for me with this one, I think I'm a little bit of the opposite. Like, I'm not, like, I do think it's slightly comical that it's a diss track. Let's be honest here. I think we all kind of, like, cackled at that.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, I like the song. Like, I think I do like the song. And I like the beat. Like, it's just very, like, soft and, like, I don't know. She shares a lot in that. And I appreciate that song, and I do slightly like the fact that it's a diss track. And it's, like, she capitalized K-I-M.
Yeah.
So, like, but yeah, I think I still feel the same about that song as I did. Like, I've listened to it a few times. I still like it. I don't feel a whole lot different about it. And it was one of the higher ranking songs for me. So.
Yeah, it was too. I think it ended up being in the top 5 at the end once it was all said and done. And I feel like it would still sit there probably. But again, like, is that because I genuinely like it and I put it there, or just that everything else on this part of the album is kind of just so lackluster?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like, is this song really good, or is everything else just not that great?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Track 9. I look in people's windows. Let's just put it out in the open. This song, like, why was this song even written? This song is Death by a Thousand Cuts.
Yeah.
Again.
Like,
the same beat, same melody, very similar lyrics. Like, why? It's almost as if this was, like, an extension of Death by a Thousand Cuts. And she was like, oh, here's this extra verse, or this was, like, an extra riff that just never made the cut for Death by a Thousand Cuts, no pun intended.
I feel like I need to kind of, like, pick apart the lyrics a little bit more.
The thing I got from this, I mean, I made okay, so my first listen, I gave it a 4. And
yeah, that's what I gave it also.
Yeah, so like a little bit below average. It's very short. Like,
I mean,
I
think because it reminded me of Death by a Thousand Cuts, and I love the Lover album, and I do like Death by a Thousand Cuts. It kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, cool. But like,
So maybe your score was inflated.
I mean, I gave it a 4, so it's not really that inflated.
Yeah,
but there wasn't anything about it where I was like, wow, great song.
Right, exactly. But the parallel that I made to it, was like she talks about looking in other people's windows, like almost this voyeuristic. Mm-hmm. But it to me made me think of social media. Like you're watching other people's lives reflect, like looking into other people's lives, these glimpses. But yeah, it's when I first heard it, I literally, like, during the first listen, like, I paused it and was like, this is Death by a Thousand Cuts. Mm-hmm. Like, what? And I'm not the only person who has thought that, because there have been several other people saying that it's Death by a Thousand Cuts.
Yeah.
Alright, track number 10. The Prophecy. This is one that I rated very low the first listen, but it's actually growing on me. So this is probably the first, maybe the second one that we've talked about. I think the Black Dog I said was growing on me a little bit. But the Prophecy really is. Like the beat, the melody, and what's interesting about this song is when you listen to the lyric, like upon further review, and listening to the lyrics, she really is like, this is her praying to God that something will change for her.
Yeah.
And she kind of like, to me when I listen to it, I hear her like replaying these different relationships and replaying like this narrative and her begging for this narrative to be changed. Like she's the girl with all the boyfriends. She's the girl who writes songs about her exes. She can't keep a man. And she is begging for somebody to change the prophecy that's been written about her. And we'll probably talk about this more in the TTPD portion, but there are a lot of references to God and prayer and religion and Christianity in this whole 31 songs. And there are also some slights to Christianity and religion in the album as well, but I think she's bringing a lot of attention to religion.
Yeah.
And, like, for her to say, like, I'm just... You know, I don't know the exact lyric, but, like, I'm waiting for someone to change the prophecy. This one is growing on me. If I were to, like, redo my rankings now, this one would probably be in the top 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And originally I gave it a 3. Like, it was like number 13 out of 15. So it was like...
Yeah, this one hasn't necessarily grown on me, but, I mean, it was definitely not, like, a lower ranking one, or, like, it was definitely more average, like, a 5 that I gave it, and I think I still need more time with that one.
Yeah. Alright. Then we have Cassandra. You can go first on this one.
Not much has changed for me with that one either. It reminds me of Folklore, but honestly, there wasn't anything about it that I was just kind of like, yeah,
right,
love.
To me, this one is like, if you think about Mad Woman from Folklore, Cassandra is like the sequel to Mad Woman. Cassandra is like the Mad Woman, like, they killed Cassandra first because she feared the worst. Like, Cassandra was the Mad Woman, and they've killed her.
Yeah.
And that's just me spinning, like, a theory out of nothing.
Yeah.
But that is, like, I think it sounds like Mad Woman. I think the storyline is similar to Mad Woman. And this one is also growing on me. I gave this one a 3 originally, and now I would probably give it, like, a 5 or a 6. So this one's growing on me a little bit, but again, this is another one that played spontaneously on Spotify. So I've heard this one a couple more times than I've heard some of the others. So it's truly just based on how, like, the more I listen to these songs, the more they grow on me. And that's, like, if we were to revisit this video a month from now after I've listened to it all 20 times, then maybe my answers would be totally different. But
yeah.
as it sits right now, this one's another one that would move up in the rankings a little bit. And this is another one that I wrote in my notes that references Christianity and religious, like religion again.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So next is Peter. I'm still interested in this one. It got a 6 from me the first time around, and I don't know. I still need to listen to it more, but I'm like very curious about it. Like if it's about Joe.
I don't think so.
No?
I have a theory on this one.
Okay.
But I'll let you finish.
No, that's really all I had to say about it.
Okay. So, I almost wonder if Peter is about. It can't be about
Just
John
a
Mayer.
figure of
It
the
can't
past.
be about John Mayer, and it can't be about Jake Gyllenhaal, because the lyrics say, "You said you were gonna take time to grow up and come back," or "You said you were gonna go grow up and come back to me," something along those lines. Now, what I like about this song right off the get-go is, I talked about this in the TTPD first listen also, there is a lot, like, this is a straight-up shoe-in to Disney merch. Like, if you're a Peter Pan fan, this song ties directly into Peter Pan. She is singing from Wendy's perspective. Wendy is looking out the window waiting for Peter to come home. But if you listen to the lyrics and you think back to Taylor's history of men, let's be real, like, the lyric of, like, "You said you were going to grow up and come back to me," it, like, when I listened to it again today, I just listened to it before getting on this video, it gave me, like, Harry Styles. It gave me, like, someone who was younger than her, or, which, is it? Oh, no, it is the manuscript, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes as our tie-in to the Torture Post Department, because I could go probably on a whole hour about the manuscript. But in the manuscript, I'm just going to jump there for a minute. She says, like, then she dated boys who were her own age, with dartboards on the backs of their doors. And, like, so Peter, to me, I feel like is a metaphor, not a metaphor, because that's not right, but, like, that's not the right term, pseudonym for somebody real in her life. Somebody who told her that he was too young for her and left her for that. Whether it's Matt, because I don't know a lot about the Maddie Healy relationship, other than it was short. Maybe it's Harry. Maybe it's, I don't even know who else, like, maybe Taylor Lautner. I doubt it, because they've mended, and so, but it can't be about Joe, and it can't be about Jake, because the reference of, like, growing up, and we all know they were much older than her.
Right.
So that's my take after listening to Peter now. Now, my first reaction, the first thing I connected with the Disney part of it, and I gave it, like, a 4 out of 10. Very basic. So this is another one that I've, like, listened to the lyrics more, and it's made me think a little bit harder, especially when thinking about the manuscript and the prophecy, all of those together. And now I just want to skip through the rest because I want to get to the manuscript because I love it so much. Okay. So track 13 is The Bolter. I rated this one on first listen a 7. It was this, I liked it. You know, I liked the beat. I liked the melody. And I think this is a, like, Taylor is the Bolter. Historically, she has been the Bolter. And so I think this is her recalling things people have said about her. And I like this song is growing on me a lot, and I really like the chorus. Started with a kiss, something that stopped me like that. Like, it's cute, it's catchy, it's fun, but it's also very reflective.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would say it's growing on me.
It still has a 3 from me. I haven't been, like, really inclined to, like, keep going back to it, so.
Interesting.
Yeah. But maybe with more and more time,
it'll grow.
Possibly.
Maybe it'll be your hopes. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have Robin, which is track 14. I'm gonna be completely honest. First listen, I fell asleep during this song.
Yeah.
I dozed off. It sounded like a melody, or not melody. It sounded like a lullaby. And next thing I knew, the manuscript was playing. So I was like, well, I guess that one's at the bottom of the list because I couldn't even stay awake to listen to it. And guys, it wasn't even that late. Like, fun fact, when we filmed the Tortured Poets Live, it was like, we started at like 10:30 p.m. and went until about 1 a.m. filming that video. It was a long process. There was a lot of editing that needed to be done. But for the anthology first listen, I kid you not, we started at like 8:45. We were done by like 9:30. Like, we kind of just went through it, took our notes, like, and just moved on. We were much more efficient the second time because we didn't want it to take 3.5 hours to do. But I literally fell asleep listening to it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a 4, so...
It got a 2 for me on the first listen, and it hasn't... Every time I hear it, it's getting the hoax. It's giving hoax. Every time I hear it, I'm like, this is not the one that I want it to be. But I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm trying to stick with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Okay, now let's talk about the manuscript.
The manuscript, since you have a lot to say...
So, actually, I think I want to wait until the end, because... The manuscript is on the version of the CD that I have, and I ordered the CD, like, you know, when the pre-release was done, so, like, when I listen to the Tortured Poets Department, I get the manuscript.
Okay.
So, I'm fine with doing it either,
That's
but
fine.
we can just go into the Tortured Poets Department, because we have
Let's do it.
We have a lot to say about the Tortured Poets Department, and we have, like, 30 more minutes left to discuss it, so, or less, because we got on at, like, 8:40. Oh my god, we have even less than that, because we got on at like 8:45. Guys, this might just be a little bit of a longer live. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the difference is, you guys have already seen and watched our first reactions. So, we've already talked about the lyrics that we like. We've already talked about, you know, our rankings and all of that stuff. The difference with this part is we're going to talk theories, now that we've delved into the lyrics. We're going to talk, where are we now with these songs now? Like, did we do the same ranking? Did they go up? Did they stay the same? And while we're at it, we're going to talk about the Fortnite music video, because the first song on Tortured Poets Department is Fortnite. So, let's find our notes for the music video here. I don't even know
my notes are for
you know what? I think mine are on my phone.
I don't know where my notes are for the Tortured Poets Department version, but... I mean, I pretty much remember what my reactions were to all of them, because those ones, for some reason, like, have stuck more than, like, the anthology, so I feel like I have a better memory of how I felt my reactions. I don't know why my notes aren't in here, though. Why would I have torn them out? But
anyway. I don't know. You did tear them out, but I forget what you... Are they downstairs on the kitchen table, perhaps? They might be downstairs, I think.
Perhaps.
Okay. So let's talk about the music video.
Yes.
These notes are my phone. I've only watched the music video one time. I can say that. I was a little bit disappointed that Fortnite was the song that was going to get a music video, because it wasn't my favorite on first listen. Still is not my favorite. In fact, it's probably scooted even more down on the list.
Wow.
Because there are other ones. It's because there are other ones that have pushed up on the list. Like, things that were in the middle of the pack upon first listen have now, like, scooted their way up. And we'll talk about those when we get there.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and start with, and some of these notes have been things that I've heard from other people. Some of them are just my observations. So I only have a few notes. I think the black and white visuals are stunning. I think the makeup, the hair, the fashion, all of it is really, really pristine. And I personally love seeing Austin Post cleaned up a little bit, with the exception of the grill. That really put me off, and I was not a fan. We have this beautiful black and white, like, cinematic feeling thing, and then there's this really nice intimate scene between the two of them, and his freaking silver grill is right there. And I was not a fan of that, but I do appreciate that the face tattoos were covered up.
Yeah.
His, like, the arm tattoos were covered up, and it made, like, very classy. And honestly, like, he was almost attractive. With the exception of the grill. Yeah. I'm not even lying. And I am not a fan when he has the tattoo. Like, face tattoos are not my thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of arm tattoos are not my thing. But he was really cleaned up, and it was I appreciated that. The reference, can you crack that? The references to her being insane or being crazy is a growing metaphor, and I'm noticing it, and I have noticed it in multiple of the songs, and it wasn't, upon first listen, I didn't really catch all of the metaphors and the references, but now, like, after listening to these songs over and over and over again, and they're growing on me, she really did feel like her relationship with Joe was prison. Yeah. And especially towards the end.
Yeah.
And that's very sad. And I hope that they did a nice job in, like, depicting that in the music video. But for that reason, there are scenes where she's, like, in an insane asylum. And, like, her being called crazy is now, like, it's just part of her narrative now.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have? There is at one point in the music video, one of them is reading a book, and the book is called The Story of Us, which I thought was interesting. And then the golden, like when she's on the typewriter for the I love you is ruining my life, you can see like the golden leaving her, and then the blue leaving him, and I feel like that's a reference to Lover and Daylight, where she's like, and now love is golden, and now it's leaving her. So now the golden is leaving, she's going into this, like, black and white, and maybe that's what Fortnite is. Maybe it was 2 weeks of grief.
Maybe. Quite possibly. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And, like, overall, I do like the Fortnite music video. Like, it's not my favorite thing ever, but also, I feel like there are a ton of Easter eggs, a ton of metaphors that I'm not getting. It's going completely over my head. Like, the Lover thing, I also kind of thought about that, and I'm like, also, wasn't blue coming from his typewriter?
Yes.
So it's like, the color blue is a really, like pivotal color in, like, the Lover album and stuff, and, like, I feel like it was very much associated with Joe. And so, like, this golden and this blue are leaving, and then, like, now like you're saying, it's all black and white. And then, like, I don't know, at the end, like, they're in the rain, and she's on top of the telephone thing.
So,
like, I don't know what all that's about.
Okay, so I got some insight into that piece. So, towards the end, during the bridge, when Post is singing about Florida, and the rental car, again, Taylor is, like, looking down, and apparently, after Joe and Taylor broke up, Maddie Healy was the first person that Taylor called. And so people are saying that this... Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
People are saying that Fortnite is about Maddie Healy, and Fortnite is about the period of time that they were together. And, like, the lyrics are, I call you up, but you won't pick up. Another Fortnite lost in America. So, that whole part with him being on the phone is because, apparently, according to the interwebs, Matt was the first, and Katie, Matt was the first person that Taylor called after her and Joe broke up. And I think, after listening to this album so many times, I think that more of it is about Maddie Healy than we originally thought, and I really don't think that much of it is about Joe, and I actually feel like there are more Travis Kelce references in it than we originally thought. And so I feel like Lover was what it was, and Folklore and Evermore happened, it was what it was, and, like, there are some references to Joe in here, but I truly feel like this was her way of, like, making peace with that relationship, but we're getting, like, all of the angsty stuff is about Matt.
Yeah.
And it's not, like, I don't feel like she's angry with Joe. I think all of the anger that she is feeling, and, like, when we talk about the smallest man who ever lived, loss of my life, I feel like that's all Matt.
Interesting. See, I don't know.
I know. I know.
I feel like my first reaction to some of these songs that you're mentioning, that the smallest man that ever lived, like, I feel like all that was about Joe.
I know.
And then even like, I forget what song, like the line where she says, oh crap, when she says, scandal kills pride, but it brings lovers together. Like I felt like that line was about Joe because of like, but I feel like that whole song is about Matt.
Yeah, and it might be. It might be. Like I think if anything, there are like lyrical jabs to Joe, but the majority of it is about Matt.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I've done some content on here recently, and people are saying the same thing. Like, all of these songs that we originally thought were about Joe are about Matt.
Dang.
Which is crazy to me, because they weren't together that long.
No.
So if it's true, and if all of these songs that we thought were about Joe are actually about him, they all happened within, 6 weeks. Because that's how long they were together, if that.
Really?
If that.
Yeah.
It was not a very long relationship.
No.
But we're gonna dive in. So, do you have any other thoughts about the Fortnite music video?
No.
Overall, if I were to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 5. Which is what I gave the song upon first listen. I think the song has grown on me a little bit just because of the sheer fascination of I want to know the story behind the song, not necessarily that I like the lyrics or the beat or anything. I think I don't love that it was the single chosen, but it is what it is. I don't, like I said, it hasn't grown. It's still very comfortably a 5 out of 10. I feel like the music video was a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Overall, no music video is going to compare to the All Too Well short film, so really.
So I guess kind of diving into, do we want to just go right into Torture Poets Department and, start talking about Fortnite, the song?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was my thought. Those were my thoughts on the song, too.
Okay.
Hasn't really changed. 5 out of 10.
So for me...
Other than, the only thing I want to say is there's another reference to Florida, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, with Fortnite, I think it got more of an average rating for me when I first listened to it, and I was like, And, I liked it. I didn't dislike it. I didn't, absolutely love it. It has grown on me a lot. Fortnite has. It's one of those ones that, I catch myself singing, and even obnoxiously singing, not just singing for, to be pretty, beautiful singing, obnoxious singing, and, it's grown on me a lot. So, okay. I do like it more than I originally did.
I do not have any long notes about Fortnite, so that tells you. Any of the songs that really, are hitting, I have notes about, so.
Yeah.
I don't have any notes for Fortnite, but I also haven't, Fortnite has not come around on the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Aiden? Rotation. There you go. Okay, let's move on. Are we okay to move on?
I'm fine to move on.
Okay.
Yep.
The Tortured Post Department. I liked this one a lot when I first heard it. If you watched the first listen video, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And honestly, in my ranking, it was in the top 5. And I would say it probably has gone down a little bit. But not because I don't like it, just because other ones have moved up above it that were down below it before.
Yeah.
So, originally my top 5, for those of you who haven't seen the first listen yet, my top 5, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, But Daddy, I Love Him, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, Florida, and the Tortured Post Department. Those were my top 5. And now, Guilty as Sin has moved up. The Alchemy has moved up a little bit. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived has moved up a little bit. Fresh Out the Slammer has moved up a lot. So those are the ones. So Tortured Post Department has just gotten knocked, bumped down in the bracket simply because of that. The line about, the chorus of this song gets stuck in my head. You're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith, this ain't the Chelsea Hotel, we're two idiots. That part just gets stuck in my head. And I really like the, a tattooed golden retriever line. And everyone we know understands why it's meant to be. I really like that line too. But again, this song is another one that references, the opening line of the second verse is, you smoked, then ate 7 bars of chocolate. So somebody is smoking weed and having the munchies. And that Joe Alwyn just doesn't strike me as that kind of person. But obviously, I don't know him.
Right.
But then, like, originally, upon first listen, like, I was like, oh, this is about Joe. They wrote songs together. Yeah. He also was a tortured poet.
Yeah. Right.
But does Joe Alwyn have any tattoos? I don't know. Because I scratch your head and you fall asleep like a tattooed golden retriever.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like Joe Alwyn to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like Maddie Healy again. But, like, so this is another one where I'm like,
yeah.
Who are you about?
I'm gonna be honest, though, like, when I first listened to this one, again, another average rating, but honestly, like, this is kind of a skip track for me. Like, I don't dislike it, but I don't love it enough to just sit, like, when that song comes on and I hear, you love to better at my, I'm like, oh, okay, meh. Like, I don't hate it, but, like,
it's not her least favorite.
It's not my least favorite, but it's just not one that I, like, go all out for. Like, I like Fortnite better than this one, honestly.
I think I, like, listen to Fortnite, and so I feel like this one is my reward, because I listen to Fortnite, so I'm like, oh, yay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Okay, anything else about that one?
No.
Okay. Number 3. My boy only breaks his favorite toys.
No.
No? Don't like it?
Nah.
I think the only part...
I think it's, honestly, my boy only breaks his favorite toys.
Yeah, I said this from the beginning, like, upon first listen, I was like, this is one that I feel like I'm going to get sick of, and that if it's a single, I'm going to hate it. And I haven't reached that point yet. I don't hate it, but I think it's moved down a little bit, but I do like the part, because I was a big fan of the Barbie movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the part where it's like, in the bridge, there's a line, I can't think of the melody, so I'm just gonna say it. You took me out of my, box, broke my tortured heart, or shattered my tortured heart, or whatever, or something like that. I played more, she says something about Ken. I had more when I played Pretend with all those Kens, something along. So I just like that. I like and then I think the second verse is really powerful, actually. If you listen to those lyrics, it's like, again, I'm not looking at the lyrics right now. I don't have them all memorized, so don't quote me. I know they're not correct. But something about, like, I was his favorite Army doll. And then something about rivulets stain my cheeks because she's been crying because he's breaking her and he's, like, using her. It's just a very powerful line. Yeah. And, like, it's just very powerful imagery. So, like, there are things about this song that I like.
Yeah.
But there are also things that I don't like. Like I don't love that. And, this is one that I, like, sometimes when I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm in the mood. And then this is gonna be one eventually where I just am gonna be like, nope, not in the mood.
I think that's me too, because I don't totally dislike this one, but I don't know. I think I have to be in the mood. But most of the time, I'm just like, nah.
I don't like how this one ends abruptly, but I do like how it's, at the very end, it's like, you told me I was better off, but I'm not. That's, like, how the song ends, and it has a very, now that we don't talk kind of ending, where it's like, you think something else is coming, and then it's just like, but I'm not, ends. That's it. Okay, alright, moving on. Like, alright, thanks. Thanks for that. And then, we go into Down Bad. Down Bad, the song that's breaking the internet because people are mad that it has so many expletives in it, even though she's a 30-something-year-old woman. Have you seen this? Have you seen these memes and reels that are going around of people, like, trying to ban Taylor, like, moms on Facebook? How is my daughter supposed to listen to Taylor Swift and blah, blah, blah?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's a real thing. People are, like, really getting upset. Which, like, we talked about in our first listen video that, she's a 30-something-year-old woman. But she's putting her thoughts onto paper, and she does have a lot of younger fans, But that's not her responsibility. Like, that's not her responsibility to censor her music to the fans. Like, that's for me as a parent to decide if I'm going to allow my child to listen to it or not. And there are going to be, like, she has a clean version. You can get the clean version.
Well, one thing, I was about to say that because I actually, there's this funny video, this, like, little reel or whatever that I actually shared to my Instagram story like a week or so ago, and it's this video of this guy, like, frolicking and dancing around to this song, and the caption was
Somebody said, this is the first time we've heard this clean? Was it that one?
No, so, like, the caption said, like, me in a happy, healthy relationship dancing, like, listening to this song, and this guy's, like, frolicking and, like, listening to Down Bad. But the music that it was playing to Down Bad was the clean version. Yeah. And it didn't have the F-bomb. It said, like, it paused and it was like, what if I can't have him? And I honestly do like that better, but it's like you're saying, like, it's not really her place to censor her music, and, like, you don't have to listen to it either. Like,
right. Like,
Taylor Swift has other music.
Yeah. Taylor Swift has other music. But when you get on her website to order your CD, or when you go to Target and buy your CD, it's set. You can see the little E's next to the song. Like, E is for explicit people.
Like, I can say...
So if you are like, oh, this is an explicit song, guess what? Me as the parent, me as the adult, I'm going to listen to this first, see how, like, decide.
Yeah, and I can say, though, she does. I feel like she tries a little too hard to put it in there.
Sometimes. This song, I feel like it is a little excessive, but anyway. Yeah. First reaction, I rated this one a 7 out of 10. It was, like, a little bit above average. Yeah. This one, this should be track 5. I'm convinced of that.
Down Bad?
Yes, like, it should be track 5.
Yeah, I love this song.
We haven't gotten to So Long London yet, but it's trash. Like, let's just put it out there. It's trash. Down Bad should have been track 5.
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
The feelings portrayed in this.
Yeah, Down Bad has not ranked down for me at all. Like, it's probably about the same, if not maybe a little more than it was after my first listen.
Yeah, I would say it's the same. One of the lyrics that I really like is they'll say I'm nuts if I talk about the existence of you, and that is, like, really pivotal, and that kind of metaphor and those similar lyrics come up later, but this one has probably stayed about the same. Like, it hasn't grown, but it does, like, it is catchy. I can find myself singing along to it, so it hasn't grown by any means, but I don't think it's, like, if it's gone down, it's just because other things, again, have, like, wedged in between. Yeah. Because there are some that have been, like have skyrocketed to the top. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's very vulnerable. It's like, well, I am down bad. Like, yeah. F it. I want you, I love you, and now I'm down bad. Yeah. Crying in the gym. Yeah. Well, I already put it into existence, but So Long London.
So Long London. Like, trash. I don't think it's trash. I mean, it's like, it's okay. It maybe has, like, I'll listen to it, so maybe in that way it's slightly grown on me, but not much, honestly. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
It's not a skip track. Like, I do listen to it.
It's not a skip track, but
I do listen to it. This song is the one that's, like, clearly about Joe. Yeah. Like, I love my London boy, So Long London, like, we're done with you, we're parting ways. So this song is clearly about Joe. I said in the first listen video, like, this song feels like she just put a whole bunch of words down on paper and then, like, somebody is just playing the piano, like, haphazardly behind her, and it just, like, nothing seems to really flow for me. Now, I will say, I do really like the bridge of this song. You said I was abandoning the ship, but I'm going down with it, my white knuckle dying grip. Mm-hmm. I really like that. But that's its redeeming quality. That's the only thing that keeps it, I think, from being a skip track is the bridge. Nice. Yeah. It's still, I gave it a 5 out of 10 originally. It probably now is like a 3 out of 10. It just doesn't. Yeah. Like, it has gone down other than the bridge. Like, I do really like the bridge, but there are still other bridges on this album that are better than it. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Not a fan. Yeah. Not my fave. Okay. All right.
But Daddy, I love him. This one, since my first listen, like, I loved it when I first heard it. It's gone up.
Okay. Like, you were going to say it's gone down.
No, it's gone up. this is one of the ones that I can listen to like repeatedly.
Same. I have listened to it repeatedly.
And it gives me Fearless vibes, honestly.
It does.
Like, this takes me back into the Fearless era.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's almost like a spin-off of Love Story, kind of. Like, I don't know, very similar type of storyline as Love Story.
Okay. I have several thoughts about this song. First of all, I heard an interesting theory about this song that I think I want to believe. So this song is like, we, the fans, are Daddy, and I'm running with my dress unbuttoned, screaming, but Daddy, I love him, and the him is Maddie Healy. Because everybody was upset.
What in the world? Why is she with Maddie Healy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Screaming, but Daddy, I love him. I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. Now, I want to talk about this lyric. I talked about this in the first listen video, but we have said before that people have made the connection to bigger than the whole sky to infertility and pregnancy loss.
Mm-hmm.
What if there really was a pregnancy scare or a miscarriage or something that happened with Maddie?
Mm.
And that is, like, why would you write that? You know, like,
yeah.
I just feel like as a woman, she wouldn't, I don't know, I find it very hard to believe that she would make a farce out of, like, a pregnancy loss and, like, make a joke out of being pregnant.
Yeah.
Because so many people struggle with that.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of
unless it was, like, a really deep desire or something, and then, like,
and I have, maybe,
yeah.
and maybe
like
it's
a
just
dream
something
that they had together, and
maybe,
then it didn't,
maybe.
I don't know.
But, like, to use a fake pregnancy as a shock and awe, like, I don't want to believe that she would do that, but I have heard people saying that, like, they don't like this song because she's making a mockery of, like, being pregnant. But I don't think that's what it is. Like, I genuinely don't feel like she was like, oh, haha, I want to make this joke. Like, I think there is a little bit of that shock and awe factor, but I genuinely, like, want to believe that there was something to it. Like you said, whether it was they just talked about it, things were getting really serious, and then it was like, oh, just kidding, no, I'm not, because we broke up.
Yeah.
Or what. I love the bridge of this song. I just made a reel about it with it today. Even at the end, when she's like, I'm having his baby, no, I'm not, like, it almost has a more hopeful feel to it. Like, maybe it is something that she wants. Now, the other theory that I've heard is that at the end of the song, when she's like, I'm dancing in my dress in the sun, even my daddy just loves him, that's about Travis. And at the end, when it's like, and no, or time doesn't it give some perspective? No, you can't come to the wedding. I'm his lady. Blah 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 blah.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's about
like that she's with Travis now, and even her daddy just loves him.
Yes. Huh. And or are daddy, and everybody loves Travis, but no, you can't come to the wedding. But what I like about this, and it is reminiscent of Fearless, because in 15 she says, I found time can heal most anything, and in this song she uses the lyric, time, comma, doesn't it give some perspective?
Dang. Oh, I want to know more about this song now.
Yes.
I mean, I've already, like I said, I love it, and I've been trying to kind of pick it apart. I had a feeling it was about Maddie, but
yeah,
because I
and
mean,
then there are so many other good lyrics in this song, like the Sarahs and Hannahs in their Sunday best, clutching their pearls, sighing, what a mess, because people, like, especially, like, if we think of guys, this is going to be a long live. I'm getting ready to go into a whole tangent about this song.
This was literally us last summer, though, when we found, I didn't even know who Maddie Healy was, but you guys were describing him to me, and you guys were like, what in the world, like, and that's, like, literally the whole world's reaction. They're like, she's dating Maddie Healy, what is wrong with her? So, like, that is kind of an accurate, like, that is how people reacted.
Yes, and I was not one of those people. I didn't even know who he was. I was just in shock.
Okay. Maybe it was Sydney who
I
knew
was
who
just
he
in shock about, well, my friend Katie was very upset. Sorry, Katie, to throw you on the bus. She's not watching, but
it might have been Sydney and Anna.
She was very upset.
Yeah.
But I didn't even really know who Maddie Healy was.
I didn't either.
Katie had to tell me who he even was.
Yeah.
But I was just so distraught about her and Joe ending, and, like, the Lover House burning down, and, like, the whole thing, like, okay, but anyway. So, Sarah's and Hannah's are the Sunday best, clutches, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if we think about this from the perspective of a high schooler, which if I said this in the first listen live, if this song would have been released when I was in high school, I would have been done for, toast, DED, dead. Like, on repeat.
Yeah.
So if we think about this from the lens of a high schooler, which maybe is the perspective that she is kind of trying to emulate, clutching their pearls, saying, what a mess. Or you can think of it from the perspective of, like, a small town girl, too, like, where everybody knows everybody, and you get into this relationship, and I'm running with my dress on, screaming, but daddy, I love him. Like, this whole thing, everybody's like, what a mess, like, scoffing, you know, and even in the end, she's like, all the wine moms are still holding out, but F them, it's over. So, like, they're still waiting for her to, like, have this big implosion of, like, oh, we tried to tell you that this was going to be a mess, and you know, I'm telling him to floor it through the fences. No, I'm not coming to my senses. Like, this just wild and crazy, like, you want to run away with this person. This is, you just want to give them everything. And, like, she says, this is another song where she, I have to think through the lyrics. I'll tell you something about my good name. It's mine alone to disgrace. So, like, keep my name out of your mouth type of situation. My favorite lyric in the whole song, the second favorite probably, I don't cater to all those vipers dressed in Empire's clothing.
Yeah.
Viper, reputation, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. And, like, when you think about it, too, like,
my snake.
all the people, like, the creeps who say they want what's best for her, like,
God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me. There are people in this town whom I bestow my fakest smiles. I used that as my Instagram caption the other day.
Dang.
So many great lyrics in this bridge. Another reason to love the song, but this is another where she's like, you ain't gotta pray for me. If all you want is gray for me, you ain't gotta pray for me and my wild boy, me and this wild joy. If all you want is gray for me, then it's just white noise. Like, I'm not hearing what you're saying because you see this guy as, like, he was chaos, he was revelry, bedroom eyes like a remedy. Like, you see him as this bad boy, he's just gonna cause me all this trouble. Maddie Healy. But daddy, I love him. Like, you're not gonna change my mind on this. I'm not hearing what you're telling me. And then in the end, she says, we went back after the heat died down. We went to my parents and they came around and now my daddy just loves him. Yeah. So it could possibly be about Maddie Healy. I like the theory that we are daddy and it is about Maddie Healy. Yeah. It could be about Travis. It could be just this high school, you know, put yourself, like, I think everybody and their mother can relate to this song at one point in their life. Yeah. This song has done nothing but grow on me. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
I love it too.
I listen to it usually 2 times through. Like, I listen to it and then I go back and listen to it again. And I actually have, like, gotten out the the liner notes and, like, looked at the lyrics for this one because I love it so much. And I was like, I have to know all the words because just so good.
I do like that one.
Just so good. Like I said, I could go on a tangent. We did go on a tangent. Now we're going to talk about Fresh Out the Slammer. This one, I have notes. Yeah. Extensive notes.
I will be totally honest. I haven't really listened to this one much since we listened to it the first time. Like, it must not have grabbed my attention enough to be like, yeah, let's keep listening.
Okay.
Let's see if it grows.
Yes. So this one, okay, upon first listen, the opening beat, I'm like, don't love it. It gives me kind of Cowboy Like Me, kind of. There are a lot of lyrics in there that remind me of Cowboy Like Me. But here's another one that I think is about Maddie Healy, and I'm going to tell you why. So in this song, like, she literally is referencing getting out of prison. She's fresh out the slammer. Mm-hmm. If it's true that Maddie Healy was the first person that she called after her and Joe broke up, then she is making a direct reference that her and Joe's relationship felt like prison to her. I'm fresh out the slammer, and I called you up. And I think she says something about that in the opening lines of the song, like, fresh out the slammer, I know who my first call will be to.
Dang.
Fresh out the slammer, I... Can you see this one's growing on me? This one's growing on me. Originally, I gave this one, like, an average rating. It was, like, a 6 out of 10. It's probably easily, like, an 8 or 9 out of 10 now.
Dang.
Okay, let's keep going.
I need to listen to it more.
Let's keep going. She makes a lot of references with her to her relationship with Joe feeling like a prison. And I've seen other creators say the same thing and share other theories about that. It's very interesting, and it's a very sad reality that she's coming to. Fresh out the slammer, I'm running home to you. And I talked a little bit. Okay, so let me tell you how I make these notes. So I'm literally in my car driving, and I play the song, and I turn on my talk to text, and I just rattle off. Like, I literally just, there's probably close to a 500-word essay just about this song. Okay, let's see. After the first chorus, she says, Labored looks at the ceiling in the shade of how he was feeling. Labored looks at the ceiling in the shade of how he was feeling. There are two different interpretations to this. One, my first thought is like, which is the sad one? Should I do the sad one or the not so sad one? Because
I don't know.
So, for me, Labored looks up at the ceiling. If you're looking at the ceiling, you're on your back.
Yeah.
In the shade,
yeah,
he's over her, right?
Oh, okay.
Shade, okay, of how he was feeling.
Uh-huh.
So literally, in my mind, I am picturing this, this is probably way too in-depth. I'm picturing them, we'll say, having sex.
Mm-hmm.
He's, getting off, really enjoying himself, and she's not enjoying herself at all. Labored looks up at the ceiling. She's distracting herself. She's trying to get through this encounter because all that matters is how he feels, right? Labored looks up at the ceiling in the shade.
This is so,
in the shade of how he was feeling. Or
I have to look this up now.
The less, or the less, triple X version is they're just having a conversation. She's looking around. As I'm listening to this, I can picture these visuals in my head. She's looking around. Labored looks up at the ceiling in the shade of how he's just blathering on about his problems and his life and everything, not really paying attention to her or meeting her needs.
Yeah.
Okay? So then, either way, I said gives you an insight into some of the intricacies of the relationship that we haven't heard before, and it's also done in a way that's so classically Taylor where we'll never know exactly, but it's so vague and so cryptic that it's like, huh? And then, this song also references Joe in another way, because this song has a direct reference to Invisible String. The part where it's so this song does something unique melody-wise, where the melody kind of stops, about 3/4 into the song,
mm-hmm.
and it comes to, where you feel, in the house, where we wait up and the porch light gleams to the one who says, I'm the girl of his American dreams. Joe, possibly.
Yeah.
And, in the park where we used to sit on children's swings wearing imaginary rings. Paper rings, I like fancy things, but I'd marry you with paper rings. Imaginary rings. Direct reference to Joe. And Centennial Park, which is also a reference to Joe. And then, we keep going. And I think it's interesting because in that moment of her recalling, oh, wait up like, we'll wait up at the house where the porch light's clean. That's just a little snippet of, like, something that she enjoyed. And sitting on the swings in the park.
Yeah.
Wearing a match, like, even now, she's reflecting, I'm fresh out the slammer, I'm running home to you, but I still have these things that, like, you know, I was in this relationship for 1 hour glimpse of sunshine, or a glimpse of his smile, 1 hour of sunshine. Like, I put up with all this stuff because the good moments were so good.
Yeah.
And I think there are just so many good metaphors in this song.
Yeah.
And then it made me think, were those songs like Paper Rings, Invisible String, all of these things that we originally thought were about Joe, were they about somebody else? Were they about somebody else? Was she thinking of somebody else the whole time and was writing these songs? I don't know. But this song, like, when I got into the lyrics of it, I was like, holy cannoli.
Yeah.
Holy cannoli. I love this song so much. I get so excited for this song now.
Yeah.
And I love I mean, I don't love it for her, but I love the idea of fresh out the slammer. Like, I'm out of this relationship. I'm out of this prison sentence. And guess what? Now I'm free. And I'm running home to you, who I've been thinking about for all this time. And we're going to dive more into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And see.
All right.
Now we get into one of my, like, probably top 3. Number 8, Florida. I'm going to let her go first because she doesn't like this song.
Yeah, I don't like it. Honestly, this is probably one of the very bottom for me. And I've tried. Like, I have tried. I'm like, maybe if I listen to it more, it's going to grow on me. Like, I just need to get used to it. And, like, each time I just, like, I've never cringed at one of her songs before. And, like, I've had moments where I've listened to that song and I've actually cringed. And I'm like, and I think after Anna, honestly, when she sent us that article or the TikTok or whatever, of Taylor explaining why she wrote it and what it's about, that did help a little bit. But before that, I just couldn't figure out, like, is it a sad song or is it upbeat and you're celebrating running away to Florida to escape all your problems? Like, you're saying you have all these problems and all these messes you made with your life, so you're just going to run away to Florida. So are you celebrating, like, is it supposed to be upbeat, like, yeah, I'm going to Florida? Or, like, are you saying, like, my life sucks, so I need to get away to Florida? Like, I can't figure out what it is.
I think it's the first one.
Like, that things are so bad what did I say?
Yeah.
Things are so bad that you have to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's supposed to be an escape and a way to escape your problems.
And I think that one of my least favorite things about it, I think I could tolerate it a lot more if, like, as they're chanting Florida, like, then, like, as they're chanting that, you hear this pounding in the back. I just can't. I can't do it.
See.
And maybe with more time, I'm still open to liking it more, but maybe with more time, it'll grow on me. But right now, I just can't get there. Can't get there. And I've never cringed at one of her songs before.
I love this. I love this song. I've used it in a reel. I love it. So first on the bass, like, first listen, I need to forget, so take me to Florida. That's the whole reason why I go to Disney World. Yeah. So, like, that's one thing I do like about that song. This is the song for Disney adults. Like, she has written this song, and I said that in my reel. I was like, Taylor is finally speaking our language. Like, if you're a Disney World fan, this audio is perfect for you, because I need to forget, so take me to Florida.
That is one thing, actually, that if there's anything good I can say about that song. Lately, I've just been saying, like, I'm craving a beach vacation to Florida. And, like, I think that, like, what they're depicting with the lyrics are very relatable. So I can connect with that part of it, if there's anything positive I can say about the song.
To me, now, upon first listen, I loved the beat. I loved the sound of it. I immediately said it was going to be like a summer road trip anthem. Like, I just think this is the perfect song to listen to with your windows down and, like, scream sing. This is another song that's a repeater for me. I listened to it, like, 2 or 3 times in a row before moving on to the next song. And the next song is also a repeater for me. So 6, 7, 8, 9, like, it takes me a solid 25 minutes to get through that portion of the album. Okay. Now, to me, this song gives me No Body, No Crime. This is the continuation of Estee's story from Evermore. No, Florida.
Oh, Florida?
Yes,
okay.
Still Florida. Because if you listen to the lyrics of the Florence and the Machine part, she says, like, a hurricane with my name, begged for it to wash me away, barricaded in the bathroom with a bottle of wine, me and my ghosts, we had a heck of a time, and I'm drunk and I'm feeling alright, my girl, everybody has their crimes, and she says, your cheating husband disappeared, well, nobody asks any questions here, so it's kind of like, you need a body to bury, come bury it in Florida, and she actually says that, she's like, I've been doing my best to lay to rest all of the bodies that have ever been on my body and in my mind. They sink into the swamp. She's saying in her mind, but maybe it's real. Because nobody asks any questions here. So I love this message of, like, you work your whole life just to pay for the timeshare down in Destin. You work your whole life just to wait out the crap show back in Texas. Like, I just love it. I love the crypticness, the mysteriousness of it. I love to think that it's like this continuation of No Body, No Crime because I just love that.
Yeah.
So I just like to think about, like, okay, this is where Taylor took the body. And, no, really. But, the bridge of this song is amazing. I have, I Need to Forget, so Take Me to Florida. I have some regrets. I'll bury them in Florida. But something interesting that I found out after hearing her distaste was, again, my friend Katie, who has a lot of information. She said that Florida, the first night in Miami of the Eras Tour was the night that Taylor and Maddie broke up. So now she, in her mind, is like, oh, great, I'm going to Florida. It's going to be this great party. And now she has this, like, tainted memory of Florida. And now she has regrets about Florida. And she needs to forget. So she's going to go to Florida. Or the night before they broke up and then she went to Florida and was able to forget about it. Either way,
yeah,
I need to forget, so take me to Florida. And what I like about the bridge is it says, tell me I'm despicable, say it's unforgivable. Florence says, at least the dolls were beautiful. F me up, Florida. So now, like, she's like, I need to forget, but also, F me up, Florida. I really need to forget. I need to forget this ever happened. I need to forget I just love it. I love the whole message about, like, run away and leave all your problems in Florida. And some people probably say, like, oh, it's a political, she's anti-political because everybody says everything can happen in Florida because Governor says blah, blah, blah. No. I genuinely think it's just throw away all your problems in Florida. Like, if you go to Florida, you'll forget everything. Yeah. And I truly will, that is what Florida is for me. So I love this song.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this song. Now, track number 9. Moving on.
This is another one that, I don't think it's grown on me just because I haven't been inclined to, after the first listen, I wasn't necessarily inclined to, go back and listen to it more. So I don't feel, for that reason, I don't feel like it's necessarily grown on me. But it could still grow on me.
This is another one that I have gotten out the liner notes, and I have actually looked at all of the lyrics of this song because this one was number 12 upon initial rating, and now, honestly, it's in the top 5. So this one has grown tremendously, and I have a bunch of notes about this one also. But, firstly, what made it bump so far up was it's very, very catchy. It got stuck in my head, and I couldn't stop singing it. And so then I was like, I have to listen to this song. And because they say that's the cure for an earworm. If you have an earworm, then you should just listen to the song and it gets rid of it. So the part, what if he's written mine on my epitaph? But specifically the last verse where she's like, what if he's written mine on my epitaph? And she goes up an octave. I love it. I love the way it sounds. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I love everything about it. Now, this song also, I believe, is about Maddie Healy. Because, so now we've got 3, if not 4, out of 9, maybe even 5 out of 9, because the only one that has been confirmed that's about Joe is So Long London. Everything else is, questionable.
Yeah.
Fortnite, questionable. Torture Post Department, questionable. Down Bad, we can probably say that one's probably about Joe, because that's, your feeling. But it could also be about Matt. Who knows? My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, that one's up in the air. But then we have But Daddy, I Love Him, Fresh Off the Slammer, Florida, and now Guilty as Sin. And Guilty as Sin, ? She's questioning herself in this song.
Yeah.
She's questioning. People are telling her that she should feel guilty, but she's like, should I be though? What if I've never touched his face? What if I've never touched his skin? How can I be guilty of sin? How can I be guilty of cheating if I've just had these fantasies in my head? So, there is like a seductiveness to this song. There is like a sultriness to this song that I love. What if he's written mine on my upper thigh only in my mind? Like, he's tattooed into me, but only in my mind. The second chorus, like, my bed sheets are ablaze, I scream his name. Like, she's having these very vivid fantasies about this person who she is not in a relationship with, and people are saying that she should feel guilty about that. So she has had this emotional relationship with someone, and she's like, well, why should I feel guilty? He started it. He sent me Downtown Lights. I hadn't heard that song in a while. I was drowning in a blue Nile. There's the color blue again. Just saying. Yeah. Drowning in a blue Nile. He sent me Downtown Lights. I hadn't heard that in a while. So he sent me this song, and now I'm thinking about him. He's the one who put these thoughts in my head. So it's like, am I guilty of sin? No. He's just as guilty as I am because he's putting these thoughts into my head. Yeah. And so there's just so much like moral grayness in this song and her wrestling with herself. I just love it. And I think it's a natural, normal thing to wrestle with oneself if you're ever in this situation. Yeah. You're in this committed relationship, but you have this other person who's sending you songs, sending you lyrics, maybe texting you, sending you flowers. You've got this like other person, and then you're like, well, I do like think about him, but what if he, like, does he think about me in the same way? And what I love the most is that second verse. She says, if it's make believe, why does it feel like a vow that we'll both uphold somehow? So if I'm having all of these fantasies and I'm thinking, oh, like, my bed sheets are ablaze, I scream his name, we've already done it in my head, like, yeah. What is this? Let me see if I have anything else. Let's see. And I already said, this is another song that I liked from, like, what made it grow on me originally before I dove into the lyrics was her voice in it, the musicality of it, and then from a lyrical standpoint, it's just continued to grow. It does give me, like, dress vibes, like I said, very seductive, very sultry, I think I've said everything I want to say, but I'm just making sure.
I think I've said everything I want to say about that one, too.
I have to read through all my own notes here. Nothing physical has happened between them. How can she be guilty of sin if she's never touched him? So I love it. I think it's great. I think it's well written. I think it depicts very well the inner turmoil that somebody could have. Like, if you are in this long-standing relationship that's not meeting your needs, like, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm fantasizing about this other person. And I feel like we all can be guilty of that at some, like, all of us at one point or another think of what if I was with somebody else? What if I didn't choose this person? What if I chose this person? Like, would my life be different? Would I be in this situation? Like, it's that classic, like, am I satisfied in my relationship? Am I guilty of sin because I'm having these thoughts about somebody else? Maybe. Maybe not. But he shouldn't have sent me that song. He shouldn't have, like, he shouldn't be confirming these fantasies and making me think that this is going to be more than it is. I love this. Like I said, originally this was number 12. This is literally probably either number 3 or number 4.
Nice.
That's how high it has bumped up.
Yeah, bumped up a lot, yeah.
Okay, number 10. Number 10.
Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Now, when I first listened to this song, loved it, still love it.
Yep.
It is
Same.
just incredible. I mean, it really just goes to show what she went through. I don't know if it's like directed at a specific person. I mean, obviously we've got Scooter, of course, but like I think just the industry in general. Like I love how she talks about like the circus life made me mean. Like, I just the very first chorus when she screams, "Who's afraid of little of me?" and then she goes, "You should be." Like I get chills.
Yes.
I get chills.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, Tay, you go, girl, because she's right. Because she has just been through the ringer with, like, this industry being in the spotlight, like, the people who have done her dirty. Like, now, like, obviously now she's re-recording her albums. But she has learned to develop really thick skin.
Yeah.
So, it's been
but
really
don't
cool
you worry,
watching
folks. They took out all her teeth.
Yeah. I like that line. But,
yes.
love
What's
this song.
interesting about this song is this is the only one on the entire album that I know of. I would need to check myself. That Taylor wrote herself. Okay. Everything else was either with Aaron Dessner, with Jack Antonoff, with somebody, with Florence and the Machine, with Post Malone. Now, all of them have her name on them. Like, all of them are, hi all, thank you for joining. We're talking about the Torture Post Department, of course. All of them say written by Taylor Swift and somebody else, but this one, written by Taylor Swift. And I think that alone is so powerful.
Yeah.
This is just all her. And like you said, I think it's specific to the industry. I think, she's referring to the circus life. You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me.
Yeah. Love this one.
So good.
Yes,
and we have to remember that when all this started, when this entire journey that's now spanned a decade or more of music, she was 14 when it all got started. So almost 20 years, almost 2 decades worth of music and worth of, for lack of a better word, abuse. Yeah. And being told that she couldn't sing this, she couldn't sing that, she couldn't do this, she had to wear this, wear that, be a certain size. Yeah. It's just great. I love this. I love what she does vocally in this song. I think it almost has spooky vibes. Put narcotics in all of my songs. That's why you're still singing along. Love it. Love it. Just love it.
Yes.
This one is still a 9 out of 10. This one's probably second on the list. Guilty as Sin is probably 3.
Nice.
Because another one I think there's another one that takes the top spot. But Daddy I Love Him is up there too. Daddy I Love Him is up there too. But I don't know. Actually, Who's Afraid of Little of Me is probably second, but Daddy I Love Him is probably number 3. Guilty as Sin number 4, because there's one that takes the top spot for me, and it's just killer. We're gonna get there soon.
Okay. I'm excited to find out.
Okay, number 11. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. Now, originally upon first listen, I was like, this song's about Travis, because people said after the Viva Las Vegas, she got the ick, but I think it's, it could be just about any guy, really. Yeah. I don't think it's about anyone specific, but it could be about Matt, again. This is another one that has references, again, to prayer, Christianity.
Yeah.
It's your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger, because I can fix him. No, really, I can. They shake their heads saying, God help her, when I tell them he's my man, but your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger, because I can fix him.
I didn't remember that lyric. That's one that, again, I just didn't really, I think when I listened to it the first time, I was just kind of
yeah. And it's still very much is to me.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that that's another one with, direct reference to, prayer and Christianity. And,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But my comment the first time I listened to this one was, and it still is, every time, I'm, on such a high after Who's Afraid of Little of Me that this one is just kind of, a letdown. It's just, this one needed to be in a different place in the album or something.
Sure.
We really should have had I Can Do It With a Broken Heart be right after Who's Afraid of Little of Me, and then let the sad stuff happen, because it's a lot of up and down. High, low, high, low. All right. Are we ready to discuss Lommel?
Lommel. Still like that one.
Lommel.
It hasn't gone up or down, but I do still really think it's cute.
This song has grown on me overall since the first listen. On the first listen, I gave it an average rating. I gave it a 6. overall in the grand scheme of the 15. It came in at number 8, so it wasn't too bad. I think part of that, though, was just the shock that she really ended a song with the lyric, I will see it until the day I die, you were the loss of my life.
Right.
Melody, done. Like, that's it. No other lyrics after that. You were the loss of my life. She really ended a song with that lyric. And I think that's part of why I gave it the rating that I did, was because I was just like, wow, oh my gosh. But, we pointed out in our first listen video that there are a lot of lyrical connections to Tolerate It and some of the stuff on Lover in this one. Let's see. I thought upon first listen that this song was about Joe. You said you were the love of my life. But I feel like it could be about Maddie Healy. Because of the Mr. Steal Your Girl line. It's because of that line. Mr. Steal Your Girl then made her cry. And if Guilty as Sin tells us anything, people are accusing Taylor of possibly cheating on Joe, or him cheating, but then Maddie would be then Mr. Steal Your Girl, because it could be like she moved on too fast, or she didn't take any time to grieve, whatever. So, I think it could be about that. And then, also, let's see what else I have here. Told me I was the love of your life. But I also feel the thing that still, I can't decide if I think it's about Joe or about Matt, because I'll still see it until the day that I die. You are the loss of my life. But if she really felt this seriously about him after a short amount of time, then what did that say about her relationship with Joe? That's what makes it hard to believe that it's Maddie.
Yeah.
But but the lyric about talking rings and talking cradles,
I thought it was about Joe.
Talking rings and talking cradles, are they secondhand embarrassed? Like, there's a little line, and then it's like, are they secondhand embarrassed that I can't get out of bed because something counterfeit is dead? So is she saying that her entire relationship with Joe was a fake, and that's why he's the loss of her life? Because later on she says, I'm combing through the braids of lies, the I'll never leave, never mind. I'll still see it until the day I die. You were the loss of my life. And then, who was she talking rings and cradles with?
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, maybe it was about Joe the whole time. Back to paper rings.
Yeah.
Back to invisible string. Back to whatever the one was where they were sitting on the swings. Oh, Fresh Out the Slammer. On the children's swings, wearing imaginary rings. And then it brings me back to, is that why they broke up? Is that why they broke up? Because she wanted to get more serious, wanted things to go babies, wanted things to go
and it wasn't going
rings,
there.
and it wasn't going there.
Yeah.
And so, or we can flip the narrative. I'm fine with flipping the narrative and saying he wanted rings and cradles and she didn't.
Yeah.
So did he cheat? Did he and so that's why she's saying, I'll see it, you were the loss of my life, because I know. It's like, and when we listened to Lavender Haze for the first time,
maybe we need to do a Swift tea about this one, about this album.
We really do, and really dive in.
Yeah, because I know what you're about to say with Lavender Haze. We got the vibe that Joe wanted to get married and she didn't.
Yep.
But now with this album, we're getting the vibe that she wanted to get married and he didn't.
Correct. Yes. I know. So if you're watching, let us what are your thoughts? Because part of me feels like there is way more to this Maddie Healy relationship than what we all thought.
Yeah.
And maybe it was he was chaos, he was revelry. I said, slam on the I said, floor through the fences. because I just want to go all in with you so fast, so furious. Like, I don't know what that 7 years of my life was, but you're the real deal, and this is it. And then he just left. He ghosted her, which we'll talk about in a minute, because there's a whole nother thing about that.
Yeah.
So I think I need to do more research into this whole Maddie Healy, Taylor Swift relationship, because I feel like I don't know enough to fully be educated.
Yes.
Because but then it's like, okay, if this song is about Joe, then is he Mr. Steal Your Girl because he stole her away from Calvin Harris or Tom Hiddleston?
I think he stole her away from Tom Hiddleston.
Okay, so maybe it is about Joe.
That could be.
And he's Mr. Steal Your Girl, and then made her cry. And then it's like, maybe, because then I also have like, maybe we've been hearing songs about Maddie Healy for a lot longer than we thought.
Mm-hmm, maybe.
But when they were writing songs together, you wouldn't think that she would be like, oh, I'm gonna write this song about somebody else.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I have lots of thoughts on that song. And let me know. I can't decide because I think there are ties to both. Yeah. And,
the mystery. Yeah, we'll have to definitely do a sip tea on these.
But, moving on. I can do it with Broken Heart. This one's number 1 for me. It started off high. Like, it was an 8 out of 10 for I'm dancing in the car, but I also love the lyrics of it, and I relate to the lyrics so much, and it is so true that sometimes, babes, we just gotta put on those stilettos and get out there and get it, because we can't just sit around and cry all day. I cry a lot, but I am so productive. It's an art. You know you're good when you can do it with a broken heart.
Yes, this song ranked very high for me first listen, and it's still pretty high. Like,
love it.
I think, but I will say, I think that, like, how you shared, like, that there were a couple of songs that, like, bumped down only because other ones kind of went up. I feel like that's the case with this one for me. Like, I don't think that it went down because I stopped liking it, but maybe I became less infatuated with it because I became more focused on other ones that I liked more than this one. But this one still ranks pretty high for me.
Yeah. I look forward to listening to this song. This song for me is the You Need to Calm Down. Like, when Lover first came out, You Need to Calm Down is like the turn it up, scream, sing. That's this one. I'm turning it up. I'm singing it to the top of my lungs. It's a repeater. I absolutely love it, and I'm doing the little dance. Now, the part that I like the most about it is the part at the end, which I didn't even catch the first time I listened to it. It's the spoken part at the end, where she is like, 'cause I'm miserable, and no one even knows. Try and come for my job. That's literally what she says at the end.
Oh, I didn't hear her say try and come for my job.
Yes! And I'm like, yes. So me. It's so me. I've heard that other people have said, like, we need a second Barbie movie, so Margot Robbie can dance to this song instead of the Pink song. And it's so true, because this really fit into the Barbie movie. I absolutely love this song. It's number 1 for me.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the lyrics. I love the message. It's like, and we're getting ready to do The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, but this song is literally about her performing on the Eras tour, because the first verse talks about, like, the lights refract sequin stars off her silhouette every night. We've all seen her costumes. We know that the first thing she wears at the opening of the Eras tour is a pink and blue sequin bodysuit that sparkles in the sun. We all know that. So she's directly talking about her experience at the Eras tour and how she has to put on her stilettos. And she probably does walk miles every night at the Eras tour.
Yeah.
And, like...
Yeah.
Like, so she's, like, in stilettos for miles, even when you want to die. Lights, camera, bitch, smile. Like, you're on. You gotta, like, the show truly must go on. No, like, not that nobody cares that you just got out of this 7-year relationship, but people are relying on you to go on, so.
Yeah.
Like, the job, you have to do your job, and this is, I cry a lot, but I'm so productive. She wrote 2 whole albums during this. She released all this, new releases during this time. Like, think about all the things that have been accomplished since we got 1989 Taylor's version. We got Speak Now Taylor's version. We got Torture Post Department, The Anthology. We got a couple music videos. We got an international Eras tour. Like, the woman never stops.
Yeah, I know.
She cries a lot, but she's still productive.
And
then the thing that kills me is you know you're good when you can do it with a broken heart. She can stand up there every single night and sing Lover to all of her fans like it means nothing to her, even though when she wrote that song, it meant the world to her. You know you're good when you can do it with a broken heart.
Yeah, I know.
And she can continue to sing all of these songs that, like, Dear John and Back to December, and she's up there singing all this, and she has said, like, these are songs from my past, like, she doesn't really have those connections anymore, but you know some of them are very real.
Yeah.
Like, especially Lover and Watching the House Burn Down, like, that's gotta hurt. Like, that has to hurt, and so, like, you're reliving that every night. Thank you all so much for joining. We're talking about, the Torture Post Department. We have about 5 tracks left, and you guys all have to go back and watch the replay of this video on YouTube, where it will be posted, and it'll be posted here on my page as well. And you guys can let us know what your thoughts are of all these songs, because we have all the notes.
Yes.
So yeah, this one, top tier. Top tier. Alright, now we have the smallest man who ever lived. What are everyone's theories? Who is the smallest man who ever lived?
I don't know, because I thought at first that it was Joe, but after all these, like, theories that you've given to me, like, it would make sense for Maddie to fit into that as well.
Exactly.
So.
Yes. I feel like it's about Maddie. There's a line towards the end about, like, being ghosted. Like, now you know how being ghosted feels, or something like that. And something tells me that that's what like, I was listening to it, I think, yesterday, and I was like, oh, like, it all hit me, like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like, she woke up one morning and he was just gone. Like, you're the smallest man who ever lived. I can't forgive you for just walking out on everything that we talked about. But again, maybe it's Joe. Like, the same narrative could be said about Joe. Now, I really, really like, the thing that makes me think that this is about Joe is the part where she's, like, in your Jehovah's Witness suit, because Joe wore suits a lot. And I don't know that Maddie Healy ever wore a suit. But I don't know, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But the bridge of this song gives me You're Not Sorry and All Too Well. We sat by someone who wanted me dead. Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed?
Yeah.
Were you riding a I can't sing very much or else we'll get banned.
Oh, true. This one I liked when I listened to it for the first time.
And 50.
And I still feel the same way about it, but I haven't listened to it much since then, so.
And you'll confess.
So, it's a good one. I think I ranked that one fairly high.
Good riddance, because it wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. I would have died for your sins. I just died inside. I forget what's the next line. Oh, and you deserve prison, but you won't get time.
Yeah, I ranked that one kind of high whenever I first listened to it. And I haven't listened to it a lot since then, if I've even listened to it at all. But I did like it.
This one has grown. This is another one that has grown. And solely because of the bridge. The bridge is scream-worthy. Like I said, it gives me You're Not Sorry, All Too Well, like, hardcore slamming the piano keys. Like, that is how you listen to that song. Or, like, Don't Blame Me. Like, that kind of, like, just like you're holding on the steering wheel and you're just like just pounding the steering wheel. And, like, I just... And the part about ghosting is, you tried... Oh, no, it's not that song, is it that song? You tried to buy some pills from a friend of friends of mine, but they just ghosted you. Now you'll know what that feels like. I think that's in this song. That is. Yeah, it is. The other thing that makes me think that this is about Joe, though, is the lyric where it's like, in plain sight you hid, and Joe is notorious for not showing his face in public. That's just, like, a thing about him.
Yeah.
But you are what you did. And that would be cheating. Yeah, so this song is another one that's grown on me, but again, mostly because of the bridge, because I'm not a huge fan of the melody of this.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of, like, the opening verses, but the bridge, like, it kind of has that all too well 10-minute version where it's like once the bridge starts, the whole rest of the song is pretty good after that, and it just really picks up. So, like, I like it for that, but the beginning half, I'm like,
Yeah. We're under tornado warning.
Yeah, it's fine. We can barricade together, guys, in this room of windows and everything. It's fine. All right, moving on. The Alchemy. You want to hear my theory about this one?
Yeah, go for it. I don't have many thoughts or opinions about it, honestly.
Okay. The first time I heard The Alchemy, I did not like it. It was like really bottom of the barrel. I think it was actually the bottom. Yes, it literally was the last one. I think this song's about Travis.
I actually saw one thing on, like, I haven't really seen anything on social media, but, like, I think I saw one thing where it was, like, a theory that was about Travis.
Yeah, because there are lots of, and here my, I don't know how we didn't realize this in the first listen, but she literally uses the word touchdown in this song.
Oh, I don't think I caught on to that.
And when I touch down, call the amateurs and cut them from the team. Ditch the clowns, get the crown. I'm the one to be. There's a sign on your heart that says it's still reserved for me. Who are we to fight the Alchemy? Grab the and then there's the bridge. She goes, where's the trophy? He just comes running over to me. And something about, like, shirts off, your friends lift you over their heads, something about, like, there was no match trying to be the greatest in the league, where's the trophy, he just comes running home to me, like, hello, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, They got a trophy, they got a ring, he goes home to her, he's being lifted over his head with people in no shirts, i.e. Jason Kelsey with his chugging his beer and going over the bleachers and everything. I think, like, this is, I don't know, I need to look up what the Alchemy actually means.
Yeah.
But,
I need to listen to that one more.
Because, I was like, how did we not get the gist of this song literally talking about football? And then there's another, the other line, it said, there's another, these blokes warm the benches. We've been on a winning streak. These blokes warm the benches. Bloke being the British word for guy. These blokes warm the benches. We're on a winning streak.
Oh my goodness.
Maddie and Joe were just bench warmers for her time with Travis.
Boom.
Scene. And the thunder is my clap there. So I think that, and so this is another one that's grown on me. Like, this one has moved up now. It's not in the top 5, but it's definitely in the top 10.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, probably now, So Long London is my least favorite. Probably.
Nice. Yeah.
And
I could see that.
Like, My Boy Breaks His Favorite Toys is down there at the bottom. I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can is down there at the bottom. Clarabelle is like, It's like in the middle.
Clarabelle actually has grown on me a little bit. Like, when
I like the beat and I like the melody of it.
When I first listened to it, I was like, okay, like, but I do like the beat to it, and I like that she's comparing her career to Taylor Swift. Or to Clarabelle.
I was like, well.
I like that she's comparing her career to Clarabelle. And I think it's, like, funny when she's like, you look like Taylor Swift in this life. We're loving it.
Because it is, like what I said in the first listen, like, she probably has had people come up to her and say, has anybody ever told you look like Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Because that's something that I would say
and
if I saw her.
You have something.
You have edge. She never did.
Yeah. But
I also like the Stevie Nicks part, because I think Taylor Swift does really resemble Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Stevie Nicks.
I have not.
But you should look her up, because there are similarities, like, facially, And they say the hair and lips, like, so she probably, especially early on in her career, was told that she looked like Stevie Nicks. And you can see I can see the resemblance. It's not like a,
okay.
Yeah. Like, it's not, like, uncanny, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Doppelganger or anything, but...
Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
So, yeah, I mean, Clairbout is just, I think it's about the same. Like, the feelings that I have about it now...
It's growing on me.
Like, it probably hasn't grown just because there are other ones that have and kind of have surpassed it, and it just is kind of stuck in the same spot that it was.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at pictures of Clairbout. I mean, I have looked her up before this, but...
I actually have never seen Clairbout. We only have one song left, everybody, and it's the manuscript.
I don't really have any comments about the manuscript.
The manuscript is so sad. It's so sad. I've heard other content creators say that the manuscript is like a goodbye. And I did post a reel discussing the manuscript and how people say that Thank You, Amy is a diss track and that The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived is a diss track, but really the real diss track is the manuscript because typical Taylor fashion, she throws somebody under the bus without ever saying their name. And I heard a really good perspective in the comments of that reel, and if you're interested, you can go to my page and look it up. There were some really interesting discussions in the comments, and one of them was that the manuscript is her reflection of all of the eras all together, and she is, like, closing the book on, she's like, now and then I reread the manuscript, one last, the last artifact, or one last look at my trip to your shore, now and then I reread the manuscript, but it's not my story anymore. Like,
I need to keep listening to that
all
one.
of these things, you know, and in the bridge of that song, the professor says to write what you know, looking backward is sometimes the only way to move forward, and I think, like, some of these, and so what I was going to say earlier about Peter is the manuscript kind of makes me think that some of these other songs that we're thinking are about Maddie and Joe are actually about somebody else completely not related to this era because it's her way of going back and writing what she knows. She knows breakup songs, so she's going back to these old feelings that she's had, revisiting them and putting them to bed for the last time, and then she's going to close the book and move on.
Yeah.
And now and then I reread the manuscript, and it's not my story anymore. And she's passed it on, and now we're reading the story.
Yeah.
We're hearing it. And she has written it, and the manuscript is out there in the world, and she's not reading it anymore.
Dang.
I know. And it's like I said, it's like kind of sad to think about her, like, looking at these 20 years of her life through a different lens and this different perspective. And some people have said that the manuscript does feel like a goodbye.
Yeah.
And people are like, is she done writing music? Is that it? Like, this is it? She's looked backwards. She is trying to move forward, and so she's closing it up and passing it on, and that's it.
I hope not.
I know. I hope not also, but it's not that she doesn't have a lot to for her legacy to live on. Like, and we still have Reputation Taylor's version and Debut Taylor's version coming.
That's true. Yeah.
So, like, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just it's a very, like, reflective song, and I think and the reason why people say that it is, like, a reflection of all of the eras so far is the line about, like, in the age of him, she wished she was 30. So in the age of John and Jake, she wished that she was their age, making coffee in a French press, living this high-class lifestyle that her as a 19, 20-year-old just didn't have yet. And then afterwards, she only ate kids' cereal and couldn't sleep unless it was in her mother's bed. She went back home, she cried, she couldn't get out of bed. We saw that in the All Too Well short film when we revisited that.
Yeah.
Then, and maybe that's it. Maybe in all of these revisitings, she's having to revisit all of these old emotions, and we're putting them out into the world again, and now that's it. Now and then I reread the manuscript, and like, in the beginning of the song, she's telling it from the third person. Now, now and then she reads the manuscript. So she's reflecting, and then at the end, it's now and then I reread the manuscript. So, like, in the beginning, she's telling it as if it's somebody else's story, but now she's looking back, she's like, okay, it's my story, it's been my story all along, and now.
It's a good final track for the album, to, close out the whole album, too.
Yeah, it really is. And so it's like, after hearing that theory about the manuscript being about all of the eras all together, it kind of gave me a different perspective on Peter, because I'm like, who was the person that she wished would grow up? Or that told her he was going to grow up.
She's going back and rewriting about that old feeling. Yeah.
Same with, Thank You, Amy. She's going back and she's writing what she wished she would. So it's like, is the anthology, and maybe we separate.
The anthology full of things from the manuscript?
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Is the manuscript the Tortured Post Department is its own thing, I think. It just so happens that the manuscript is on the Tortured Post Department CD, because the manuscript was originally, so the manuscript, the Bolter, the Albatross, and the Black Dog were supposed to be 4 specialty tracks that were on different versions, just like the 1989 albums. We had the standard, and then we had the neon pink, the tangerine, and the aquamarine, whatever. So there were 4 covers of that one. There were 4 different lavender, whatever, of Midnights. So we have all these different things. And originally, each Torture Post Department vinyl and CD was supposed to have a different bonus track on it. But now, all of a sudden, we get this whole anthology of 11 more songs, and then the manuscript is the last song. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Peter is about somebody else. And Thank You, Amy is her revisiting these old feelings.
Yeah.
So then it kind of makes you think about,
other
Cassandra probably is. Cassandra probably is the mad woman, because we're not we need to think outside of this era for what I'm going to get you back.
She could be.
Who's that? That could be anybody. She is the Bolter. She's revisiting all these things, and she has been the Bolter in the past. People have said that she's the Bolter, but then also she has been the Albatross to save people. So the whole anthology is Taylor's reflection, and then she closes it up with the manuscript, and she's saying it's not my story anymore, and she's letting us have it to do with what we will.
She is something else. She really. Yes.
Truly.
I need to definitely revisit, and maybe that'll deepen my appreciation for the anthology, because
I highly recommend listening to the anthology in full and then listening to the manuscript and then going back and just really keeping the manuscript in mind, and the fact that the manuscript does kind of feel like a goodbye and does kind of feel like her closing a book and passing it on. Mm-hmm. Then thinking about after hearing that about the manuscript, every song that I listen to on the Black Dog, on the anthology, really just makes me ooh, kind of think a little
differently
bit
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do think it's very so high school makes sense to be about Travis. Yeah. I don't, but it could all you could also see it just from the perspective of that Fearless era.
Mhm. Right. She's writing it in that genre of the way she used to write, kind of.
Yeah. 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 And the years pass. Yeah. Looking backwards, sometimes the only way to move forward.
My mind right now.
I know. What a nice discussion.
And 2 hours later, I think we have...
That was our longest live in a while, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you drop in the comments your thoughts, your theories, and if you want to find out any more about my reels or my other Taylor Swift content, hop on over to Instagram. That's the Tornado Siren. We're just living, we're vibing. And you can hop on over to my Instagram at Your Geeky Girlfriend and check out all of I've got several Taylor Swift reels on there, and more to come. And like I said, if you were watching this video live right now and you missed part of it, the full video will be uploaded to YouTube, but it'll also be shared to Instagram here in just a little bit, so you can go back and rewatch from the beginning to hear everything about the anthology and everything about the Fortnite music video and all the things about Torture Post Department. This is probably the most in-depth I've gone into an album. I will say that. Like, even with Midnights, I didn't really, like, dive that far in, but it's just, like, I don't know if it's just as I get older, I'm interpreting her writing easier, or she's not making it as hard to figure out anymore because she wants people to know the truth in, like, a cryptic way.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would say that this like, overall, I do like the Tortured Poets Department better than the Anthology, with the exception of the manuscript. The manuscript, like, but I would say I definitely like the Tortured Poets Department better than, like, 1989, better than Red, and maybe even better than Midnights, honestly.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of tracks on, like, I love Mastermind, and I love Karma, so, like, there are standout tracks on all of those albums that, you know, like, All Too Well is still, like, one of my very top favorites ever.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I think, like, in terms of an album and my first reactions to the album, I think, like, this one's pretty good. I can't really stop listening to it, so, other than, I haven't really listened to the Anthology that much, but.
I don't know. I feel like it still kind of gets, like, definitely not my favorite album still, but I think that there are definitely songs on the album that are growing on me, so, yeah.
To be determined.
Yeah, to be determined in time.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you, as always, to my special guest, and we will see you guys next time for whatever we decide that's going to be, and whenever we decide that's going to be. So, thank you guys, and until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.